In this video, we're going to be learning how to do rotations using the L method. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, the L method is not my best method, but the more I do it, the more I like it because I think it's a little bit quicker, and a lot of kids seem to really like it. So the L method involves using an L. So what I'm going to do is start with my center of rotation. So the center of rotation is 0, 0, and I'm going to put a dot there so I know where I'm looking at. It says I'm going to rotate the triangle 90 degrees clockwise. So first I have to decide what is clockwise. Well, clockwise is going around the clock, so that is to the right. So I'm going to start with point C because C is the one that's closest to the axis. Now, it doesn't matter which order you go in, that just worked for me. Now, what you have to imagine when you're doing the L method is that you are rotating the L 90 degrees, not the triangle, but the L. So it's kind of hard to show it on the screen because it doesn't rotate very well, but when I rotate it, let's see, it's saying that, hey, I rotated that L 90 degrees. So where does my dot end up? It ends up right there. Okay, so I've got that one. Now I'm going to move the L out of the way so that I don't get all confused here. Now I'm going to do B. Now I always go over and down. Okay, that's how I make my L's. So when I rotate that L, once again, I'm rotating the L, not the triangle. It's going to be right there. Okay, so my dot would end up right here for B. Okay, then I'm going to move my L. Whoops. Let's see, where did that end up? I probably should walk my thing. Okay, there we go. I got my L out of the way. Okay, now I'm going to draw my last L. I like to go over and down. Okay, and then I'm going to rotate that L this way. So in your mind, because of course you don't have on your paper a way to actually turn that L, you have to imagine where is that L going to turn? Where is it going to go over and down? Okay, so let me draw this point in here, and then I'm going to get it out of the way again. This one was point A prime. Okay, I'm going to connect my dots, and then I'm going to look at it and say, okay, does it make sense? Did it go first? Did it go 90 degrees clockwise? Yeah, it did. Okay, and then are the ordered pairs rotated? See how this one goes up here, this one, if I draw my line, goes there, and then C goes there. So there's really no rhyme or reason to the letters. They're not parallel. So I know that I did do a rotation. Let's try another one. Okay, this one again is around 0, 0. 180 is my favorite one. Okay, so I'm going to do C first again because that's the one I like. Remember, I am rotating the L 180 degrees. So what happens when I rotate it 180 degrees? Okay, I got to take care of this. We're gonna lock. Okay, so when I rotate that L 180 degrees, that means there's 90, there is 180, but I have to have my center of rotation at 0, 0. So that's where it's going to end up, and I'm going to put my C prime there. Well, look what happened to it. It was over and down, now it's over and up. There's my 180. Okay, now let's do B. Here's my center of rotation. I'm gonna go over and down. Okay, I'm going to rotate the L 90 and 180. Okay, but I have to go to my center of rotation, which is right there. Okay, so B is going to end up right there. I know that I shrunk that, but I still got the right place for B, so we put my B prime there. And the last one is A. I'm going to go over and down. Now, if you keep with the same directions every time, it'll probably be a little bit easier for you. Once again, L method is something that I struggle with, and I have to make sure that I go over and down every time or I do get confused. Okay, so there's where that one ends up, and that is my A prime. Okay, so let me get my L out of the way there. I'm going to connect my dots. Okay, and then I have to make sure, did I go 180 degrees? Well, yeah, if I started in this quadrant, which is quadrant 4, and I ended up in quadrant 2, yeah, I did go 180 degrees. You can draw the lines between the dots. I like the 180 one. It's kind of nice to look at because when you draw this one, they kind of all, whoops, that one didn't line up very good, but if you look, they all cross at one point when you do that 180 degree rotation. Okay, what happens when you want to rotate around a point that is not 0, 0? Well, this is when I think the L method is the best. Okay, I don't know if this is locked, so I'm going to lock it in place real quick. Okay, I'm going to put my point at -1, 1. Okay, so there is my center of rotation now. So now when I draw my L, let's start with A. It's just right there. There's really not an L involved there. And it says I'm going 90 degrees clockwise. Remember, the clockwise is this way. So I have to rotate that 90 degrees. Oh, I'm going to have a hard time with this. 90 degrees. So 90 degrees just makes it up and down. I'm sorry I didn't get it all the way. Let's see if I can. There we go. It just basically, instead of going over, now it's going down. Okay. So I'm going to put that point right there. There is my A. Let me move my L out of the way. And that, oops, can't draw that extra dot out of the way. I'm going to have to erase it. Okay, now I'm going to do an L. Remember, I like to go over and then either up or down. There's my L. I need to rotate it 90 degrees. So there's my 90 degrees, but I have to line it up with my center of rotation, which is right there. So my point, my line's not very good, but there it is. Okay, and it seems weird because it wasn't on the axis here, but it is here, and that's because the center of rotation is different. It's not at 0, 0. Okay, and now I'm going to go over to C. So I'm going over 3 and up 3, something like that. And then I'm going to rotate that 90 degrees. Remember, I have to put it back to the center of rotation. So my C point ends up to be right there. So let me label that C. And then I'm going to move that out of the way. So let me connect those dots. Now, the dots that I'm connecting are A, B, and C. I am not connecting this center of rotation right here. So when I write down my new ordered pairs, A prime is going to be at -1, -1. B prime is going to be at 0, -5. And C prime is going to be at 2, -2. Okay, we're going to do one more. I just wanted to make sure we saw this because this time it's rotating around a point. Okay, so my center of rotation is right there at that point. Okay, so I'm going to lock these. Let's see, let's lock that into place. Don't you wish you had a smart word to do with this with? I'm sure. Okay, lock that into place. Okay, so now that I've got that, I'm rotating at 90 degrees counterclockwise. So counterclockwise is this direction. So I know that my picture is going to end up over here somewhere. Now, because my center of rotation is right here, it doesn't mean it's going to be in that quadrant, but I do know from here it's going to end up that direction, okay, at 90 degrees. So let's start with our center of rotation. So the cool thing is that B isn't going to move. So there is B prime. It's just going to stay right there. When I go to C, I'm going to go over and up. I like to do over and up. If you went up and over, that's fine too. You just have to work and do what's best for you. Okay, I'm going to turn it 90 degrees counterclockwise, and then I'm going to line it back up. There we go. Okay, it's a little bit off, but I can see that it's going to go right there. Okay, next one is to A. So I'm going to go over and down, and I'm going to rotate that L 90 degrees. So there it is. Once again, it's not lined up perfectly, but you can kind of see where the point is going to end up. It's going to be right there, and that is A. So let's draw and see if it looks like it's the same triangle, because it should look the same. Does it look like it's the same triangle, just rotated 90 degrees and it went this way? Now, notice that, I said it was going to end up over here, but once again, it rotated around this point. All I know is that it went this direction. So I probably had a bad guesstimate, but it did go down from that point. Okay, so there is how you rotate using the L method. Once again, if you could practice the L method, I think it would be worth it for you because it does make it a little bit easier. The paper turn method is my favorite method. It's the one I do best at. But when I get into these ones that rotate around a different point, I think it becomes very hard. Okay, I forgot to label my points, so let me go ahead and put those in there. So this one's 6, -2. B is at the same point. It is 5, 2, and C is going to be 3, -1. Okay, Good luck with that.